Let's continue working on the refactoring, and just like we have done in the previous lesson where we converted page name type into enumeration, we're gonna do the same, but with button type in this case. So I'm going to create new enumeration and call it button type. In here, I'm going to use 5 different button types by basically converting this syntax of a union into individual enumeration entries. There will be nothing different. We're still going to have 5 different button types: primary, success, warning, neutral, and the last one is danger. There is no need to import these button type constants in this file. I'm going to get rid of this import statement, and if we'll go inside constants.ts and take a look at the definition of button types array, before we were using individual button type constants, but now that we are gonna use enumeration, I'm going to change all these usages and reference individual button types by using our new enumeration button type. So now we can remove definition of these 5 constants. There is no need to use them. We're gonna use button type enumeration everywhere where we're gonna have to use button. So we'll have to go through any view components and find all button type constant usages and replace those usages with button type enumeration, just like in here. We're going to replace button type danger constant with button type enumeration and reference danger type. So we can remove this import and move on to the next component, where we're gonna repeat the same procedure. Actually, the next component is base button, which represents all buttons in our application. In here we are importing all button types. There is no need to do it anymore. I'm going to replace all these constants with button type enumeration, just like that. And please note that we can't actually use keyword type in order to type button type enumeration, because in this component we're using button type not as a type but as a value, because we are using individual enumeration entries as keys for type classes object. If we'll scroll down further, we'll see that there is one more button type constant using here. I'm going to replace this constant with button type enumeration as usual. Also, we're using one button inside base select component. Let's replace this usage with button type enumeration and reference neutral type. And then up at the top, I'm going to remove this unused import. And finally, we have to handle one more component where we use most of the buttons, that is timeline stopwatch component. Here we're using 3 buttons. So in all of these places, I'm going to use button type enumeration. And eventually, we can remove this import of 3 unused constants. As always, just to be sure that we haven't broken our application, I'm going to take a look how our buttons render. As you can see, all buttons look good. We can continue in the next lesson.